Hello, and welcome to PPC, Porch Puppy Comics, where if you can't run with the big dog, stay on the porch. We thank the Lord again for another day that He's blessed us to see, blessed us to be in. For this is a day that the Lord has made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. This is episode number 20, number 20 of the Porch Puppy Comics. And this is Long Haul Monday. And I was talking about all these different books and stuff that I picked up, plus the collection, and I was so jazzed about getting those put out that I never showed you the free comic book day books that I did pick up. So these are the ones we're going to start out with today. And in the free comic book day, we have Spider-Man and Venom. That's a number one. We got the IDW Free Comic Book Day Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We have those. We also have the Uncanny Avengers number one, the Red Sonja from Dynamite. And let's see, we also have the We Are Legends book from DC, from the dawn of DC. And this was introducing the City Boy, Spirit World, and The Vigil. I think two of these have already came out this week. The next book is Conan by Titan. And this Conan it's nice. It's really nice. I like Conan anyway. The properties are bouncing all over the place. I knew at one time or another Marvel had them. And of course, then they lost him out to Dark Horse, and then I think from Dark Horse, I think Marvel ended up with him again. But now they're with Titan, and you can see by the art on some of this that these books are pretty good. And looking forward to seeing what the actual book looks like. And last but not least, out of the new comic book day, the free comic book day, it's Dawn of DC, Night Terrors. That's the special edition. I think they said that they had one that you could actually buy that was chromium. I haven't read a whole lot on this. Again, like I said, it's new book stuff. And to be totally honest, the only reason I picked them up is because the last time I had missed out on picking up, the appearance of, I think it was Darkseid's daughter. And that book was a good book to get leading up into that Darkseid war with the Justice League. Let's move these out of the way. Long Haul Monday, y'all. Long Haul Monday. Let's show you some more stuff here. Check this out. Let me get you centered here. There you go. Guardians of Justice and the Old Force. Crazy. It was in a dollar bin. I picked it up. It's all black and white. Some of it, I should say. You can see the art. It's what you get. I mean, it's just really, but it's weird. And anytime I just like to see the character skill set and power set like they've got and try to see how it lined up. The Old Force, they're just a group of brothers who inherited superpowers. The Guardians of Justice is just what they say. They're just, from different parts of the planet. And it's aight. All right, y'all. While y'all still eyeballing the Guardians of Justice, I want you to move these out of the way. Feast your eyes on these. The Justice Machine, number one. Have 2 issues. Let me see if I can get you lined up here, get you a better look. folks. There we go, y'all. All right. The Justice Machine is a character. This cover here, as you can see down here at the bottom, is done by John Byrne and put out by Noble Comics. And the characters, they're just your garden variety, characters. I think what drew me to the book, I've got this thing as far as for giant men-esque type characters in the books. I always thought from the time that Giant Man made his appearance in the Avengers and, in the Legion of Superheroes, they had the Colossal Boy and different things like that. Those books were real nice. So these here, I do know that I think their Giant Man in this one is called Titan. And I can't think of what the rest of them are, their names and different things. But it's been a while since I've actually read the book. But that's the interior art. And it's a great book. Mike Gustovich, he does some great art. These came out back in the 80s, by the way. And had to send off for those. And I ran across another number one, so I went on and picked it up. And then, I'm just going to do this one this way. This is Justice Machine number 2. Now, I want you to check this out. Isn't that nice? That is spectacular. I mean, you look for battle issues like this, and we've seen it with the Justice League, we've seen it with the Avengers, we've seen it with the Fantastic Four, we've seen it just with people just come together and they coming up here fighting. But this here is nice. I like the Captain America's character right here for this opposing team. And I don't rightfully remember what this opposing team name is. Let me find out for you right quick. I'll tell you what, y'all. I've been enjoying putting out these books. And let me see. What is their names? They've got a lot of good advertisements in these as well. And with upcoming comics and different things. And I just haven't been too long finished watching a video from T. Ravis, some books he was picking up, and some of the same stuff he had, he was picking up, had a few things that I had. And in one particular book was the Justice Machine Annual, and was premiering the first ever issue of the Elementals. And they've changed a whole lot, just from the time that they put the book out to the time, that they ended up showing. And I'll show you those in a minute. But these group of heroes are, let me see. They are called just the Guardians. And they consist of Monolith, Crusader, Malefactor, Night Lightning, the Hunk, the HUNK, and Phaser. That's them right there. It's pretty cool, though. I had to show that one. And this one here, the next one, number 3, is the first appearance of Bloodmaster. And then they said this one here has centerfold by Mike Gustovich and Bob Layton. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've seen these. So let's check it out. See what we got in here. Ooh. Wow. Check that out, folks. That is nice. Black and white, but it's nice. Said comics is not only for the reading and the enjoyment, y'all, but it is an art form. Now, as time went on, they decided they're going to shrink the books. So, as they started shrinking them, here's number 4. As they battle the same super team, the Guardians. And they got a few new members in this one. But this is also the premiere of ta-da, Cobalt Blue. It's not a bad hero. He's pretty cool, actually. And they premiered him also, which is his first appearance in Justice Machine number 4. Here's Justice Machine number 5. As you can tell, the sizes, they shrank them considerably. They made them smaller. They made them comic book size in width. And with number 4, it was still the same size as the magazine, but it was comic book size in width. But now, on the 5th issue, not only did they shrink it a little bit more, now it's almost standard comic book size. And these, again, it's like I've said so many times before, these I try to keep. I don't try to get rid of them. There's a second appearance of Cobalt Blue. I don't remember ever seeing any actual books with him in it, because that don't mean much of nothing. But we're going to move on. We got a lot going on here at the household. And so I'm going to try to do as best I can putting these out. Let us move on. Let's see. Okay, our next book's up, y'all. These are more dollar books. Starman and 3D Man, Marvel Premiere 36. I got 37. I need a 35 to have the full set. There's 37. 3D Man, they said, was pretty much a Cold War hero. They just pretty much made him up. And, he premiered in these books here, 35, 36, and 37. And then I think he just pretty much disappeared or went into obscurity. And if I'm not mistaken, and y'all can correct me in the comments, that I think he didn't make his appearance again until Incredible Hulk. I want to say 351. I could be wrong. But it's either 351. No, excuse me. It was 251 is where he made his appearance again and fought the Hulk, because I think the gentleman that he swapped out with, I think he was in a coma. It's been a while again since I've read it. But this Starman, I've always liked this particular character, so usually if I see it, I'll pick up the first issue. I'm not looking at trying to get a whole run of this again. I've had it when it came out, and I said I'll just do without. I get the first issue and run with it. Coming up with some more dollar books. Long Haul Monday, episode 20. Marvel Tales number 82 and 83. Now these Marvel Tales right here. Now the reason that they're cheaper books are because that they got the kind of water damage in there, kind of a little bit what they call waved on the bottom. But even in that, they still present well. Still a nice looking book. And I like the storyline. Anytime that you're going to have giant monsters in there and they fighting the heroes, especially in the Savage Land, you got Kazar and Zabu in there, it's fun all the way around. And of course, you got Craven the Hunter, and this was a 2-issue. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it premiered in the actual ASM. I want to say maybe 102, 103 maybe, or 103, 104. I'm not for sure. But y'all can check it out if you want to. These next ones coming up are dollar books. And these are, we have New 52 Justice League number 1, New 52 Justice League number 2. This one here is first printing of the Justice League New 52. I like the New 52. A lot of folks didn't like it. The story, it was just something different. It was a good read. It's something that's a shame, really. You can pick all these up for, just little or nothing, whatever the printing is. But if you do pick them up, whatever printing you get, at least pick them up and give them a read, because it was still a good read. And usually if I find them, I'll try to get the first 10, maybe first 15 to finish out the storyline. If I run across these in the dollar bin anymore, I might pick up the rest of them on up to the 25th issue. Okay, next one's up. We have issue 3 and issue 4. First printing and third printing. You can tell by the background on the different printings on these particular books. And you can also tell down here in the numbering system. You can see it's got that 2, 4, 6 digit number down here. And at the very end, if there's a 1, a 2, a 3, or 4, what have you, that's what issue that is. Same way with this one. That's an issue 3. Should say third printing. That's how you figure out your printings. If you didn't already know, community. The next one's up. It's Justice League number 5 and number 6. Number 5 is a second printing, color variation. Number 6 is a first printing. Anytime you're going to throw Dark Side in a book, you can pretty much count me in. It's going to be a great fight it's going to be popping off here, as they would say. Number 7, and as you can tell, I'm missing 8, 9, and 10. But I got number 7 and 11, second printing, color variation in the background, and first printing for number 11. Next one's on the docket, 12 and 13. Both of these are first printings. At that Jim Lee art in there, new variation on the cheetah. Hey, I'm telling y'all, it's a good read. You just need to take time and give it a looky look. Last one of this particular stack. As you can see, they still have the dollar signs on them, of the dollar stickers, because I haven't changed them out yet. Haven't really got supplies. Need to pick up some supplies. But number 14, and that is a first print. They said it's the Monster of Steel. Yeah, he been totally vexed. He's even looking like Cheetah. But again, a good read. Daniel's done the art on some of these as well. And it's just a great book for the New 52. Because like I said, the New 52 was good. I noticed it had a 5-year that people just didn't really know each other. During this 5-year span, all the heroes just really come into being after the last little setup. I think it was during the Flashpoint. And this is what we got. There's a lot of books spawned out of this Flashpoint. And the revamping of the characters was good. The Superman was good. The Man of Steel was good. The Action Comics. This was a good run. And then there was others. But the best one, I think, out of the bunch had to be Aquaman. Aquaman, has always been kind of the stepchild of the DC universe, because they always talk about all he can do is talk to fish, ride on seahorses, and all this other kind of stuff. But in that first issue, as he was talking to a blogger, and he was interviewing him, and he was asking him, he said, do you talk to fish? He said, no, I don't talk to fish. And so he asked him, do you eat fish? He told him, yes. And he said, are you in here? Because they was at a restaurant, or a diner. He said, are you in here to eat the fish, get your fish dinner or something to that effect? He said, no, he's here for the pancakes. But they just really, really showed, the strength and the character of Arthur in this one. And that's another series. If you want to get it, New 52, I'm telling you, it's a great run. And used to be you could find all these books in the dollar bins, but they are now, just like everything else, they're drying up. And so I'm like, my goodness. So as they drying up, you got to watch out and try to pick them up as quick as you can. And don't think out there in the community that I have forgotten, because see, this is PPC, and you still gonna get a scripture, because that's what I do. That's what I do. A scripture reading this morning will be coming from Psalms, the 9th book, and the 9th and the 10th verse, and it reads, "The Lord also will be a refuge for the oppressed, a refuge in times of trouble. And they that know thy name will put their trust in thee, for thou, Lord, hast not forsaken them that seek thee." May the Lord bless the reading and the hearing of his holy word. Like I say, you come for the comics and you stay for the word of God. Because I'm telling you, it's needed today. He is needed today. Our next book's on the docket. Incredible Hulk, War and Peace. People in the community. Dale Keown. What's your view on him? Yay or nay? To me, this is one of the greatest Hulk artists. I've seen a bunch, but I'm telling you, when he come on the scene, it just brought a whole new dimension of the Hulk. Of course, we dealing with the smart Hulk here, but it's a whole new dimension. And again, for dollar books, y'all, I wish y'all check these things out. Look how sharp the corners are. And he's dealing with the X Factor crew. See, Dale Keown done a lot of independent stuff back in the day, back in the early 80s, in the form of Dragon Force, if I'm not mistaken. That's another book if you just want to pick up for the art chores of it. Yeah, he does some spectacular stuff back in the day, just like some of John Byrne's older stuff that he done, in Space 1999. I think he done a few Bionic Womans, a few Bionic Mans. What was the name of that book? Doomsday Plus One. I think T. Ravis was even talking about those. I try to pick those up myself anytime you see them. It's the art that got me started in collecting. And then I got into the story later. But, I always said if you're a good artist, you ought to be able to tell a story without a single word. So, this here, Dale Keown, is great stuff. This here is another Incredible Hulk, $3.95, $3.96. Now, these two books here, Hulk is this. He's picking up his other persona as Mr. Fix-It, teaming up with the Punisher. I always like this part right here where the Punisher is unloading on him and is shooting up his sunglasses and yet bouncing off of him. It's tearing up everything else, but it's not doing nothing to him. Even done shot through the trade dress up here, So, but seeing him in the Mr. Fix-It in the, gangster suit, and he's green, and they fighting this Joker called Mr. Frost, and he gave him a run for their money. Not a whole long time, but it was still a good, 2 on, 2 off issue. And I tell you what, it was a good read. It was a real good read. Our next book, The Hulk Winter Guard. I just like the cover. I haven't even read it yet. I just picked it up. It's a cover grab. But for $1, you can't beat it. And I said it, the Winter Guard, I said I always like that character, with they set up. I think it's Dark Star. What is his name? He's Captain America's counterpart, Red Guardian. This one here is not the Titanium Man, but Crimson Dynamo and Ursus Major. I think it's what the Giant Bear is. But the characters in here, it's still a nice book. But as far as it's Hulk, So what you gonna expect from a Hulk? All right, next dollar books. Next on the docket, folks. Bob Layton, Hercules, Prince of Power, the first, I should say, miniseries. And you can see these books, these are newsstands in the dollar box. Why did I pick up 2 of the first issue? I'm just weird that way. I'll pick up 2 of the first issue, and if I find another set, I'll collect the set, because this story here, if you like Hercules, anytime he fought Thor, teamed up with Thor, was always a good time. And Bob Layton just put his nice spin on this particular book. And it was a good setup on this. We've got issue 2 and issue 3. Again, the 4th issue of this book, of this book, it's got everybody's favorite planet-eating rascal, Galactus. And in this particular book, I think this is the one where him and Galactus, because I believe this is the first time for me, when I first got this set years ago, and I was reading through it, and it's the first time I have ever seen Galactus without his helmet on. And they was yet sitting on Galactus's ship, and they were getting just stone cold drunk. And he's got another miniseries that came out with the future version of Red Wolf. That's a good run too. But like I said, these 80s books, y'all, these 80s books are drying up, and people are focusing on the 90s stuff, and they picking up stuff. And you're going to pick up what you want to read, but I don't know. I said it's just like I told you with the Justice Machine and different things like that. These particular books, it's if you find them in any good shape, or if you go to a flea market or an antique shop. I know one of the guys I watch on YouTube in the community, Lunch Money Comics. I watch him a lot. He gets some great pickups, and there's others in the community that I watch. And a lot of folks I, just started subscribing to. I subscribed to few, but a lot of them, I just like their content and, where they go. Like I said, I guess it all depends on your geographical area where you're going to find, the better deals, because some places, especially in the bigger cities, they'll have comic shows and different things, whether they mini shows or what have you. They'll have those just about every weekend in some area, but we got ours coming up, the Southern Indiana. If you're down in this area, Southern Indiana Comic Show, and it's in Evansville, Indiana. It's at the Washington Square Mall, and it's a good time, and it's all about the comic books. And that's what I like about it. I mean, I have nothing against the folks that do the cosplay. I mean, they great. They're I mean, the stuff that they put into it, putting these costumes and everything together. I mean, you just can't beat it. But I want the books. I come for the books. Want to come and let your fingers do the walking. That's the fun part. That's the fun part of all of it. And when you do it that way, oh my goodness, you in good shape. You are in good shape when you do it that way. And like I said, it's a place you can still take your kids. Last time we went back in March, I seen more kids there. I seen more young ladies there collecting. Some collecting by themselves, some collecting with their boyfriends. And that I always find that funny, because I told my wife the very next time we do another episode, I was going to tell the story when my wife and I got married, and I had an X-Men 1. That was the Jim Lee run, y'all, not the original. And so as we moving everything in and everything, she's like a typical wife. She wants to get into her husband's hobby and see what he does. And I was going through the books, pulling them out the trunk and everything. How back in the day, if you couldn't afford comic boxes and different things like that, you had to put them in whatever you could put the books in. I used to keep my books at one time, another community. I used to keep them in tomato boxes. Yeah, I know. I used to keep them in tomato boxes, but those were some of the sturdiest boxes. And all did I get picked on about it? Yep, sure did. I got picked on anytime I took the boxes in, done any trading. Oh, here you come with the tomato box again. But those were some of the sturdiest boxes, you know. So she got down there on the floor and took that comic book, opened it up, and folded it backwards. And when she folded it backwards, I thought somebody done hit me with a taser. I know, no, baby, you don't do that. Don't do that. And because, and I think I made the mention to her. I don't know if I can't remember exactly, but I thought sure I might have said, no, this is not no Archie, or something like that. This is X-Men 1. Of course, we always had that mindset that we thought we were sitting on the next mint, sitting on the next Amazing Fantasy or the X-Men 1, but like I said, how things turn out. Here we are. But I still like doing this. I still think it's a great hobby. The community is great. And, I said I'm liking what I'm seeing because I'm just about the old books, the old books, even some of the 90s, depending on what they are. But I mean, right now, with everybody, going for appearances and different things, that's fine. But, like I've said before, if I run across the book and it's an appearance, then that's fine. It may yield something, it may not. But I'm trying to work on more of quality than quantity. Because I'm going to tell you, there was a time I had so many books, y'all. I had so many books that, sometimes it would literally take days for me to go through and catalog and bag and board and everything. And I said, I can't do this, man. It was just something. See, when your hobby gets to the point to where it becomes work instead of fun, you're not going to enjoy it, So I keep my collection small now. If I run across stuff, like that collection I bought just a couple of weeks ago, I pulled out what I wanted to keep. I put the other rest of it in a box. I gave a box away to my neighbor and his wife. And, because they trying to do something with some books and different things. So, I don't mind, but it's sometimes you just got to back off a little bit. I just can't do it. Maybe it's a part of me just getting older, community. I think that's what it is. I just can't handle it. But I do still enjoy going, looking, and letting my fingers do the walking. But I yet thank the Lord again for this, y'all, for episode 20 of the Long Haul Monday. We're going to try to see, now, as far as new to me, Comic Book Wednesday for this week, probably going to skip it this week because most of the books I have pretty well caught up with most of the books that I have been picking up that y'all have been seeing over these past 20 videos. So I have finally caught up, and so I believe the next one that y'all will probably be seeing will probably be the Pickle Barrel, because the Pickle Barrel is what I usually pull out of my own collection, that I want you to see. This is some of the stuff so you can kind of get a read on what I'm collecting, what I like, and different stuff. And I still got quite a few books to go for the Pickle Barrel. Now, if there's something happens down the road and I'm able to pick up some more then here and there, then it'll be new to me on Comic Book Wednesdays again. But right now, like I said, we're just probably going to stick with the Long Haul and the Pickle Barrel. And let me know in your comments, like, share, and subscribe. Let me know in your comments, if you're liking what you're seeing. Like I told you, I'm a preacher. So, I don't feel right just coming up here and just showing books. And this is just me, just showing books and not at least giving the community the word of God. Because like I tell you at the end of every episode, only Jesus can fill that void. If you have a void in your heart, if you got a void in your life, only Jesus can fill it. And I know some people only go so far into the video and they'll cut that part completely out. And that's all well and good. As Bobby Brown used to say, that's your prerogative. But if things get on you, if you're so stressed out, if you're so burdened down, come back and get into the word. There's always something. You got to understand that the Bible stands for basic instructions before leaving earth. Because like I told you, you got to go somewhere. It's either heaven or hell. Your soul is going to reside somewhere. Because your soul is built to last. And it lasts forever. So I thank you, community, for tuning in. Again, this is PPC. And I'm KJ with you. Y'all have a blessed day. I'm out.